Welcome back. Namibia commemorates its 34th anniversary of independence on the 21st of March 2024. Traditionally, independence celebrations evoke excitement and jubilation amongst Namibians. This year, it is impossible to overlook the fact that we will be honoring this milestone shortly after the passing of President Hage Geingob. However, as the adage goes, the show must go on. On that note, we are pleased to be joined by Dr. Audrey Mate, the Executive Director of the Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology, to discuss the readiness and preparations for this year's independence celebrations. Dr. Mate, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Nina. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for being here. To start with, Dr. Mate, please provide for us an outline of the specific initiatives or events planned by the Ministry for this year's Independence Day celebrations in Namibia.
Thank you very much. As you know, we only announced the date on Friday, so there's very little that has happened between Friday and today. But I'm quite sure that by tomorrow, we will have enough information to share with regards to the specifics of the program, perhaps maybe on Wednesday. Where we are now is that we have mandated the regional council through the governor of Zambia's region to begin in earnest the preparations to host the 34th independence anniversary in Katima. We know that they met earlier this afternoon. Tomorrow they will give us feedback in terms of their readiness. Mm-hmm. But what is always standard is that the president is the one that invites all of us. President Mbumba will extend an invitation to go and celebrate there with him. He's the one that is hosting the event. He will be the one to be delivering the keynote address. Obviously, as you mentioned in your introduction, it comes so soon after the death of the third president. Obviously, maybe the mood will not be as it were in the previous years when we celebrated much more jovious. But the circumstance is that this is what the late president would have wanted us to do. And as you say, the show goes on. Yeah. So Katima is ready for us.
At this point, talk to us about the collaborations that the ministry has with other government agencies and stakeholders to ensure a seamless and memorable day on the 21st of March.
There is a National Preparatory Committee, which is chaired by the Secretary to the Cabinet, Dr. Simata. There are various subcommittees within that National Preparatory Committee, one of which is Information and Publicity, which I chair. And then there's also Catering, which is chaired by the Executive Director of the Office of the President. Then you have a Finance Committee, which is chaired by the Executive Director of the Prime Minister. You have a Protocol and Defense, which is chaired by the ED of Mirko. You have Logistics, which is chaired by the ED of Works and Transport. I don't know if I left one out, but really that's the structure. So, and then there's Entertainment, which is chaired by the Executive Director for the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture. So the idea is that each of these committees, they do work in their silos, then they report back into the main committee is what activities are going to take place. Obviously, entertainment is always part of the highlights for independence celebrations. We know that the Regional Council is preparing to ensure that when the people congregate in Katima on the 21st of March, a lot of work will have been done in terms of keeping the people entertained. Mm-hmm.
Dr. Mate, are there any special technological innovations or digital platforms that the ministry will be using to engage citizens in the Independence Day celebrations?
Indeed. One is that the event will be broadcast on this channel, on NBC, but also it will be streamed live on MICT social media pages. I'm sure NBC will probably be happy to carry that as well. This is really to allow the fact that people who live as far as Karasburg or North Oval, they may not become able to come to Katima Mulilo for independence celebrations. So we give them a chance to be able to watch that live on social media, on television, but also to be able to listen on radio. We also, our colleagues who are around the embassies around the world, they'll be able to follow the events using the digital platforms that are available to them. But just to use the opportunity that when we say we're going to have it beamed through social media platforms, it doesn't mean that those who are within the neighboring regions, they cannot come. Obviously, the invitation is open to every Namibian. In fact, every resident of Namibia at that point in time is free to come. Within the region itself, there will be arrangements to transport people to come and celebrate in Katimamulilo itself. It's a central place, the regional capital for Zambia's region. So we will be announcing the logistics as we get closer to the day, but only to make the point that everyone else is welcome.
Fantastic. Well, regarding the logistics, perhaps for those who missed the announcement on Friday, let's talk about that. Location and venue and what progress you can share with us today. And also maybe just to touch on the theme that was chosen for this year's celebrations.
Maybe to begin with the theme, it's People United for Prosperity. You might have seen that the theme remains the same for a period of 5 years, and so is the logo. What gets to change is really the venue, what the host region is going to be for that year. So we can confirm it's going to be in Katimamulilo. Very likely that it will take place in Katima Sports Complex, Katimamulilo Sports Complex, which is really right in the heart of the town itself. As I've mentioned earlier on, we are making arrangements to ensure that those who live outside the who live outside the Katimamulilo, there will be transport made for those to ferry people to come and celebrate with the rest of the country. I know that in the previous years they had sports activities lined up, but as I say, as the weeks progress, we should be able to give you more information towards the end of this week, perhaps early next week as well. Then we'll have a clear understanding as what the thinking is at the regional level, but also with input from the national team, because at the end of the day, the National Preparatory Committee is still responsible for organizing national events. But in this case, we delegate functions to the regional structures, because the event is taking place in the regions. They know what is possible, they know what is not possible, but they will get the full support from the National Committee.
Dr. Audron Mata, we look forward to speaking to you again in the upcoming weeks. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you so very much, Nina.
That was the Executive Director at the Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology, Dr. Audron Mata, giving us an update on what can be expected for this year's independence celebrations. We'll be back after the short break. Stay with us.